can say is that the fake news just doesn't get it, do they? I don't think we can ever believe them. And I don't believe them right now. Mob mentality has formed yet again around Andrew Cuomo this time, a sexual predator who must be driven from office. He must resign. He'll be impeached. I'm hearing that from Joe Biden, from everybody. The Attorney General here in New York State just put out a pretty massive report, almost 200 pages. I've been going through it. And here's the thing. I'm not buying it. Now, there's a lot of reasons to not like this guy, okay? And I am not a fan anymore. But he's no sexual predator, all right? And what is said about him can be said about a lot of people, actually. And if he goes down, I think a lot of people will be at risk. Isn't it wild that this guy is suddenly a monster, yet we've all seen Joe Biden grab and smell and grow people for years, and the left elevated him to the presidency? More on that weird discrepancy in a moment. But first, the Attorney General of the state of New York, a one-time protege of Governor Cuomo, came out with a big report today. This is not a criminal referral, by the way. This is really just for people to read, for the media. What happens to it? Who knows? Here she is.
These interviews and pieces of evidence reveal a deeply disturbing yet clear picture. Governor Cuomo sexually harassed current and former state employees in violation of both federal and state laws. The independent investigation found that Governor Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women, many of whom were young women, by engaging in unwanted groping, kisses, hugging, and by making inappropriate comments.
It's very stirring. Now, you may think, why am I making light of this? Well, I've read the report. The dramatics aside, he called somebody lovely at a party, not once, but twice. He kissed somebody on the cheek at an office party. He put his hand around a woman's waist for a picture, again, at an office party. And it goes on like this. There's more.
These 11 women were in a hostile and toxic work environment, and that we should believe women, and that what we have an obligation and a duty to do is to protect women in their workplace. And what this investigation revealed was a disturbing pattern of conduct by the governor of the great state of New York.
Now, I approach the whole thing skeptically because of her. You can tell right now, I mean, she's just overdoing it. This is the woman who said she would get Trump when she was campaigning to be Attorney General. She didn't need to see any evidence. She didn't need to see any complaints. She just told everybody she was going to get him.
I say one name, Donald Trump. That should motivate you. Stop your vote.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the He's going to know my name personally.
Running for Attorney General because I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president when our fundamental rights are at stake. We need to focus on Donald Trump and his abuses. We need to follow his money. We need to find out where he's laundered money. All of those transactions have happened here in New York City.
Very reasonable, down the middle, law and order Attorney General, right? Just all about the facts. So I've been through the report. It's a couple hundred pages long, but the meat of it, I'm sorry, I don't think it's there. I don't. And she made it clear today, this is not a criminal matter. This is a political matter. So one of the accusers is a person, her name is in the report, named Liss, L-I-S-S. She testified that she was subjected to unwelcome non-consensual kissing, touching, and comments. Wow, non-consensual kissing, that's bad. But, it says this, the governor touched Miss Liss at office and work parties, including a celebration in or around May of 2014 after the passage of the budget. On that occasion, the governor approached her, kissed her on the cheek, and slipped his hand around her lower waist. And the governor beckoned a photographer to take a picture. She was also offended by words such as sweetheart and darling when he called her those things instead of by her name. Now, first thing about kissing. I didn't like this as a kid. I was not a kisser when I was 8 years old, but people say hello by kissing. You've seen it a million times. Strangers, people kiss. And I don't know if consent is always offered, if it has to be in public settings at an office party. Did everybody want to be kissed? Probably not, but it just kind of happens. Maybe it shouldn't anymore, but for centuries, that's the way it worked. And how about the whole hand around the lower waist thing? AOC, I noticed just the other day, was approached for a picture. Her arm went around the guy's waist who wanted the picture. I didn't think that was a problem. Did you? Politicians, people do that all the time. I guess now we're supposed to have our hands in our pockets. All right, now, here's something. An unidentified state trooper. This is probably inappropriate, but is it a 200-page report? Is it run him out of town? A trooper, a female trooper, testified that the governor asked to kiss her. Can I kiss you? Well, he is single, by the way. They do work together. I'm not saying it's appropriate, but he asked, can I kiss you? She says she remembers just freezing, being in the back of my head. I'm like, oh, how do you say no politely? Because in my head, if I said no, he's going to take it out on the detail, and now I'm on the bad list, unsure what to do. She replied, sure. He asked for consent. She granted it. It goes on like this. It goes on like this. But let's hear from the governor. He spoke out today right after this semi-wannabe bombshell dropped.
There is another complaint I want to address from a woman in my office who said that I groped her in my home office. Let me be clear, that never happened. She wants anonymity, and I respect that. So I am limited but what I can say. But her lawyer has suggested that she will file a legal claim for damages. That will be decided in a court of law. Trial by newspaper or biased reviews are not the way to find the facts in this matter. I welcome the opportunity for a full and fair review before a judge and a jury, because this just did not happen.
I believe him. I do. It would be very easy for me to jump on the bandwagon right now and say, bad guy, oh, he had it coming to him. He was anti-Kavanaugh, by the way, another man who was treated horrifically. I'm not going to do it because I believe him, and I've been around long enough, and I know stuff that happens, and I can see a freaking witch hunt when it happens, and that's what's happening here. I've also been watching this guy for a long time. You know when they say, oh, that's not me? It truly is not him.
I do kiss people on the forehead. I do kiss people on the cheek. I do kiss people on the hand. I do embrace people. I do hug people, men and women. I do on occasion say, ciao Bella. On occasion, I do slip and say sweetheart or darling or honey. I do banter with people. I do tell jokes.
Wait a second. Did he kiss Al Sharpton in that? Was that Al Sharpton? Now he's gone too far. He's got to. I'm only kidding. But you can see, this is what he's like. More.
I try to put people at ease. I try to make them smile. I try to connect with them. And I try to show my appreciation and my friendship. I now understand that there are generational or cultural perspectives that, frankly, I hadn't fully appreciated.
A lot of people haven't. He's a 60-something-year-old man, still calls a pretty girl in the office sweetheart. Look, you can read it for yourself. There are some things in here that disturbing maybe, but I think he's being railroaded. I do. And we got a guy in the White House, Joe Biden. Everybody sees that this guy doesn't know. He can't control himself. And we've been seeing it for years. We've seen this. We've seen moments like this. We've seen moments like this. Not that bad. How about this? And then roll the tape. And this gets really sloppy and really weird. Joe, there's a problem. I don't see a problem with Andrew Cuomo. I don't. I see a political witch hunt, and I don't know who exactly is behind it yet. I have my theories. Take a look at the report, read it. Don't let the media summarize it for you, and then we'll talk. All right?